Timeless 106.1 FM KFFB. Thanks so much for joining us for another edition of our Open Mic program. And Senator, thank you so much. We got Senator Boozman with us as always and in person. And what's so amazing, it seemed like every time we turn on the news, there's some catastrophic thing going on, whether it's COVID or hurricanes, but Afghanistan is something that we really need to touch on a little bit. It has really been a kind of a tragedy of how this all PR nightmare, really.
Well, it really is a tragedy. It's a catastrophe in so many different ways, but nature, we can't do anything about that. If you have a forest fire, if you have a flood, this could have been prevented, and that's really what makes it so bad. So we're in the middle of it now. I feel so badly for those that have served, the men and women. Certainly they're, trying to work through all of this. And then again, the thing we have to focus on now is getting the Americans out of there. Also, our NATO allies, that they have lots of people there working together. And then ultimately the Afghanis that were helpful to us in the cause. But this is something we need to really, it's all hands on deck right now, protecting the American citizens, and then at some point getting our troops out of there safely. Sadly, we got the cart before the horse. We started pulling out our troops before we pulled out our people, which makes no sense at all.
No, and it's something people are saying they've left military equipment. Is that true?
No, they've left billions of dollars. And if you remember, Bob, one of the terrible things that happened as a result of Gaddafi was a tyrant. On the other hand, when the United States and some allies under President Obama took him out, that became a lawless, ungoverned country. He'd bought massive weapons. That's really what he spent his oil money on. Those weapons went all across northern Africa and then destabilized a lot of those countries. My concern, I think our concern now, is that those weapons, those billions of dollars of very good weapons, will go across the Middle East, places like Yemen, Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, the list goes on, and then help destabilize those countries. The other problem, too, is if you are Iraq, if you're these countries that depend on us, what are you thinking right now? Are we going to be there for them? And so it's lots of ramifications. Right now, though, that we really do need to concentrate on getting our people out.
Well, we also need to talk about the economic recovery. It seems like there's been something going on there. That's something we're all working on.
We are, and Governor Hutchinson has done a great job in the state. And when you look at the pandemic, what I'd say the old pandemic and now the new pandemic, this new strain, economy has done quite well. And I would argue that reducing the regulatory atmosphere that we had, reducing taxes has played a big part in that. Sadly, they're talking about these massive spending bills where they're going to dramatically increase taxes and things like that. That's going to put a wet blanket on the economy.
Well, one thing we got to talk about is that variant, for the COVID variant coming in. The models we're seeing that Arkansas and Missouri was first in, we're seeing that go down now. So we probably by the end of September, we should see back to normal.
No, I hope so. And, that's very encouraging. People of Arkansas have trudged along. The whole idea of all of the different things that we've done is to keep the hospitals from being overrun. And right now they're awful busy. They haven't been overrun, but they're awful busy. And we need to just say a special prayer for the men and women that are working so hard to keep us safe in that regard, because they're tired, they're worn out. But you're right. I think we're going to be on the downswing. And certainly we need to get back to some normalcy.
It's really funny. I always quote you a lot. I guess you know this, but, we talked about COVID, and before we had the vaccine, we said, what Mom always said, keep your hands washed, keep your hands out of your mouth. And the shot was a tool. We've said it's a tool, but it's not the cure-all, and we still got to kind of maintain that.
It is. I've been vaccinated. I did that for a couple of different reasons. I didn't want to give the disease to somebody else. And then, too, certainly keeping myself safe, my family. When you look at the hospital numbers, 98% of the people that are hospitals right now are unvaccinated, and those others generally, have pre-existing conditions. The vaccine is such that nobody advertised 100% efficacy. The fact that we are having people that have been vaccinated show up, that's just part of it. The good news, though, is that they don't seem to be getting as sick as those that are unvaccinated.
Tomorrow we're going to have a great program. I love when we talk about veterans. We're going to talk to some veteran owns a business in Heber Springs, and that is Chris and Lee Powers, and it should be a great program.
It is a great program. As you know, I was participated in that. These are wonderful people, and they're just great examples of our veteran community that we're so proud of. But these are people that served in the military, did a great job that way. But now they're serving their community, and then also in retrofitting and building structures for the VA, the Park Service. They're very active in those things and doing a tremendous job saving the taxpayers' money.
It should be great. Thanks for joining us for Open Mic.
Thank you so much.